You wanted madness? You got madness.
Yeah.
It was. This is the first time since 1970 when they actually started seeding teams in the tournament. First time since 1970. There's no number one, number two, number three in the tournament. They're all gone. And of course, the top four number one seeds all got dispatched. Why has this happened to college basketball? Well, I had the theory I presented a couple of weeks ago, John. I think you bought into it. Everybody's got three-point shooters. A lot of teams are getting guys coming through the front door via the transfer portal. I think the arrival of a huge selection of players from Europe and some great big men who've come through Africa to get to schools has made a huge difference. Big question, refs call all the fouls or let them play and let them bang. I think that's a piece of this conversation today. But I think March Madness has drastically changed. And just look, this coming weekend, who's going to be watching games on TV like you and me? No Gonzaga. Drew Timme, I thought, got nailed with a couple of ticky-tack fouls, which changed the whole chemistry of the Gonzaga game that wound up being a really bad, ugly loss to Connecticut. No UCLA. They ran out of players more than anything else. Never was North Carolina. Duke got dispatched very early, which to me was a surprise because the Devils under John Shire are playing really, really well at the end of the season through the ACC tournament. The other ones that are gone, Arizona. Backcourt play really hurt them. It hurt their two bigs who couldn't do the whole thing by themselves. Obviously, Alabama got dispatched. They didn't like being mistreated, being muscled, being mugged. Should have been misdemeanor assault against San Diego State. Yeah. Alabama couldn't cope, and which stuns me considering they're in a Southeastern Conference and that's big boy basketball. Big boy basketball, Tennessee stomps one team. Next weekend gets nailed by who? Florida A&M? Who? So, I mean, the Blue Bloods are like you and me. They're watching the games on TV. So your reaction to the fact there's no number one seeds, there's no number two seeds, all the third seeds are gone, and we got, who's that in the Final Four?
I think it's great. I mean, because I think this is what makes March so special. When you have a lot of these mid-majors that make these runs, you know, and a lot of other blue bloods like Kentucky is not there. All those Big East powerhouses of days long ago of like Georgetown and St. John's. I know Villanova's had a good run lately. They weren't there in the Final Four. And then even some of the upstart teams like this year, like Arkansas, which I thought had a lot of potential to do well. They didn't make it. I love the fact that there's all these new names. Now, the question is will the nation embrace it? Will the TV ratings still be there to see, you know, San Diego State and Florida Atlantic? So I'm looking forward to seeing how this all breaks down. But this is what makes the tournament great.
Is the building going to be sold out? Because there is no Houston and there is no Texas. And the stories right now on the websites are that the ticket prices for the Final Four have plunged. You can take that $100 bill out of your wallet, go out on the street corner, and on the second level, you can buy a ticket now for $100 for the Final Four games. Think about that.
Wow.
These were tickets that were selling $700 and $800, dropped to $400, and now with Texas out, with Houston out, and all the other names that never got there, all of a sudden tickets are really available. I don't know if the TV ratings will hold up. This is not sexy. San Diego State, Florida Atlantic, who? That's not sexy. So that's going to be interesting. But history will write that the Cinderellas who got here are kind of like Virginia Commonwealth, and they're kind of like Florida Gulf Coast University.
Yeah.
It's kind of like George Mason. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for those schools and these kids to walk down the hallway. So that's where we are. The big picture of March Madness as we go towards Houston and what's going to happen come Saturday in the two semifinal games, what's going to happen on Monday, championship night. Okay, you got top